Guys, my name is Anna Gat. I'm the founder of Interintellect, the place to host or join the most important conversations on the internet. We are a curated marketplace which identifies, empowers, and helps to monetize the public intellectuals of the future. We do this via live events, which are thematic, paid and attended by a global audience, as well as our hardcore norm-setting community of fellow Interintellects. In this video, I will talk about one of the core sets of rules that we live by in our community and with our network and audience, the 4 rules of hosting. It's really important for us to have somewhere written down, kind of a foundational set of rules, which, by the way, we have arrived at through experimentation and experience. It's not something that preceded how we do our practical life. This is something that we kind of accumulated and acquired while working on. We've just hosted our 1000th event. So, there's a lot in the background. But this also means that, today this is 4 rules of hosting. Maybe in a month, it's going to be 6. Who knows? We host conversations as a job, but we also do our own professional and intellectual evolution through conversations. So if you have any feedback or if you have arrived at something that would be useful for us, please find me on Twitter or in our community Discord, or just email me at anna@interintellect.com. So what are the four rules of hosting? These started as little pieces of advice for fellow hosts when we first started exploring the possibility of opening the hosting opportunity for everyone. And today are foundational frameworks beyond which anything is possible. So if you want to host Interintellect salons, we ask you to please live by these 4 rules of hosting. But beyond these, you can play with the format and innovate on the format however you want. So, we have people hosting workshop salons and writing salons and singing salons, silent salons. Some people dress up. Some people use strange filters during their online salons. Some people, do a relaxing salon where everybody is required to be in sweats. This is all up to you. All we ask is that, you abide by the 4 rules of hosting. And in the other video, I'm also explaining the 5 rules of gathering, which is not just for hosts, but for everybody, which sets the norms for what type of events an Interintellect salon can be. But this set of 4 rules is for hosts. So what are these? The first one is my favorite and definitely something I learned on my own account. It's called the Imperfect Host. What does this mean? Well, I noticed when I was hosting offline events, in venues or in my own living room, that sometimes things didn't work out perfectly. The projector wasn't working, or the catering was late. I broke a heel, spilled my wine, whatever, something gets messed up. And I always notice that this makes people, this puts people so much at ease. You worry as a host that, oh my God, if I'm not a pristine, perfect, ex-cathedra creature, people will judge me or they will have less trust for me. But you will find that this is exactly the opposite. There is a kind of inherent hierarchical relationship between a speaker and an audience, but this is a salon. And so breaking down that kind of opposition or dichotomy between the 2 groups is so important. So I always encourage hosts, increase your humanity, lower your professorial position as the first thing you do in a salon. Have something not work. I mean, I messed up so many things during Interintellect salons. We had a secret society salon that was supposed to only open for people who knew the secret code word, who figured it out, and that didn't work. So many things. It's completely fine. People actually will have a better time. They will have an easier time opening up and being themselves if you are yourself. As a host, you're a human, you're a fellow traveler. So I really, really encourage everybody to be an imperfect host, whatever it is you're doing. You are an imperfect host. So it's just like owning up to it, right? Like you're a human, therefore you are an imperfect creature. Just don't put masks on that fact, and you will find that you will have a much better, vibe in the room. The second one, the second rule, so the first one was the imperfect host. The second one is what I call stickiness. So maybe it's a terrible name. If you have a better name, you know where to find me. So stickiness came from this experience I had when I lived in London for 7 years. And, I kept going to events when I entered the startup world, and I really was so intent on making friends. And, I was an immigrant. I really wanted to build strong relationships in this new country. And I kept noticing that, London is a very big city, and I would go to an event and we would have a very deep conversation with somebody, even would exchange contact, but usually I would never see this person ever again. And the next event I went to, I still tried, but that you find yourself that the 15th networking event that you go to, you will be less motivated to open up and share your childhood stories. You will also be less invested in remembering who this person is who's talking to you for 2 hours, because your kind of statistical mind will be like, oh, well, I will never see this person again. Why put in the effort? And the result is, a sequence of, unending, very superficial conversations when nobody really opens up and nobody really shares and remembers. And I thought that's terrible. I just felt that this is so abnormal. I don't think that this is good for people. I didn't see happiness gleaming in people's eyes while doing this. And I thought, okay, what can I do? What are the little things in place that might, help me create a kind of stickiness between people, so that they know that if you do like this person and if you want to continue the conversation and it's mutual, you can, there can be a context, there can be a structure so that you can achieve that goal. And so this is the reason why, even when we were doing Interintellect Salons like early 2019 in living rooms and in parks around the world, from Mumbai to San Francisco, from Berlin to New York City, we would always start by just letting people know that there will be an email address exchange up to that. And if you want to, if you put down your email address will also be shared with others. And Interintellect salons work very similarly, right? Like we have a community. So if you liked a salon and if you want to see these people again, you can come to our community forum. If you're not a member yet, you can get a membership. It's very affordable. And all those people will be there in the hosts channel or the series channel. And you will be able to be daily friends with them if that's something that you're mutually looking for. And this is so, so, so important. And I think one of the reasons why people feel so relaxed at Interintellect salons, other than because of the imperfect host, is because they know that this is not a one-shot thing that you see these people. It's not a Tinder date. It's not like, oh, you have to really, prove yourself here. And then, you only have this one chance. No, like, oh, you're in an introverted mood today? That's fine. You can, speak little and open up next time. Or you had a really good comeback to that person's witticism. You will get a next chance to do that. And I find that this is so much more human. Like humans are continuous creatures. We kind of suck, in little units. I mean, maybe in tweets, but even Twitter, right? It's like a short little aphorism, but you like for it to continue. And that's why we follow people. We want more of it. And I do think that people actually want more of each other. And it's my kind of private mission to help them achieve that. So that's the second one. So imperfect host, stickiness. The third one is what I call ritual space. And again, something that you will find increases the satisfaction of the host and lowers the stress levels of the attendees and creates a shared kind of membrane around the room. Ritual space comes from the sorry or happy fact that I was a huge daydreamer when I was a kid. I was completely out of it in school. I was always daydreaming or always reading or thinking about songs, writing songs. And I know that the reason why I could do that was because I knew my environment very well. So the kind of bottom of the Maslow pyramid, my alertness for the unknown was completely switched off. And this is true for everybody in the office, at school, in church, in your favorite cafe. You kind of know what to expect and you can switch off that kind of alertness toward uncertainty because you know what's happening. And so this was very important to me when I built Interintellect. And I want the salons to be extremely repetitive at the foundation. And, even if you go to a salon that is super special for whatever reason, because of the special guest or the topic or the format, or, during the conversation, you arrive at some major, catharsis, you will find that in the background, our team and myself and the host, we work in a very strict, repetitive show business way, right? This is in a way show business. And, when you go to the theater and you see the ballerina lifting her leg, or the soloist, going, elevating him or herself into the realm of magic on the stage, that has very real foundations. A lot of people worked on cleaning the auditorium and, on the lighting, the costumes took months. And this is how I build as well our movement. There are always these very safe, repetitive, boring foundations, because I believe that, every Interintellect salon you go to is going to be the same in many ways. And that's why you can relax. That's why you can really pay attention to the host. That's why you can open up. That's why you can really deeply connect with somebody else. That's why, you can have a completely out of the box idea that you never thought about, or a realization on the spot. And I think that's really, really important. I like to say that there are good conversations on the internet, but they are rare, random, and risky. And what we have achieved at Interintellect is basically a place where you go, interintellect.com, and every single conversation will be good. Not always great. Great is the magic is something, it's always an outlier. You can kind of increase it, but you can never make it, the case for the overall. And to me, that's, you can click on anything. You don't know anything but a host. You've never heard of this topic or the author, the readings. Everything is new to you. You've never met those 30 people in the room, and you're going to have a great time. And I think my theory, or my, public bet here, is that it works that way because the foundations are extremely thick. So we basically invented a format just through the trial and error. So that would be my third one: ritual space. Like a church or school, it's always the same. The rituals unfold in their magic in very boring environments, right? That has to be there. I like to say that you can't have a good dance party if you're worried that the house is going to fall apart. So we do both the house, the foundations, and the dance party as kind of part of my project. So Imperfect Host, Stickiness, ritual space. Now let's go to the fourth one. And it's a smaller, shorter thing, but very, very important. This is something I call anchoring. I noticed, having worked at NGOs and as a journalist, I co-founded Hungary's leading women's rights platform. We had put on numerous panel discussions on very kind of contentious topics with many disagreeing people. And I noticed that the only times when a conversation would be too tense or a conflict would arise, it would be because of something that a person assumed about somebody else. It was very rarely about something somebody said. It would be probably based on something that they said, but it would kind of be continued in this person's head, right? As is in the famous fallacy. And so I kind of sought to create a format for Interintellect salons that really lowers, without ruining the magic of meeting new people, it really kind of like lowers or shrinks the threshold of, threatening unknown about anybody there. So you want a space where you're there with 30 completely unknown people, and you never worry that, oh, she's looking down, he went silent, maybe I said something wrong. We start with such an open and honest and kind of, self-truth manifesting round of intros at the beginning, usually prompted by an intro question, or the host, brings the attendees together for a little exercise at the beginning, so that by the time we actually get to the point where somebody's looking down, that, oh, she has a dog, or, oh, he fell silent, oh, it's because he also was in the military and that was mentioned, so he's thinking. And I found that just starting with the anchoring to truth is what I call it, and just this kind of cognitive exercise at the beginning increases the trust in the room greatly. And it makes everybody really happy. Like you really feel like, oh my God, I'm meeting all these completely new people. And that's the magic of being human, to be part of the human community. And while how you like to experience that may differ from person to person, I really strongly believe that there are foundational kind of pillars that are shared across all of us. And in my current, framework, and I may, extend it later on, these 4 pillars are the imperfect host. So the host being like, ancient religious teachers who would sit down with people as opposed to like standing on the stage and talking down at you, right? So we're equal, even if I'm teaching you something. Stickiness. So there can be a continuity with the people that you are interested in, or where there are emotions or a connection. The third one is ritual space. Have ritual form the magic happen by keeping the foundations very safe and very familiar. And the fourth one is anchoring to truth. So start with the truth and the sharing and the openness. So by the time you get to maybe talking about things where there are disagreements in the room, which is very normal, you're talking in a very humanized way, and you understand that you assume the best and have the best charitable interpretation about what the motivations are behind saying that, as opposed to thinking about the West. So these would be my 4 tips. And, this is what we do at Interintellect, but you can use these 4 rules or tips anywhere. Maybe you have a Christmas dinner with your family where, there might be disagreements. There might be, new people who need to integrate into the community, maybe somebody's new girlfriend, boyfriend. So try them and let us know how it went. I'm always here to listen. Thank you so much.